This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic. This is 5 times the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Armour, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah!
G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is the Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm your maker, buried the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, turn like a muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the vein, you best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you wait down with that, then I got 2 words for you, suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, holding up the cup. Let's be busy, 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
Hey guys, Tony Schiavone here, making chicken salad. That's sure gonna put some butts in seats.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. But a square peg in a round hole just never seems to fit.
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Hello and welcome to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia podcast, where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. I am your Junior Vice President of Podcast Management, Lachlan Albert. And as always, I'm joined once again by a man who can no longer challenge Dave Meltzer for his championship, Todd Eastman. Todd, how you doing, mate?
Well, I was all right till then.
Yeah, sorry to reveal that for you. And then what's that? The wheel says triple threat. So here's Jeff Setti. Jeff, how you doing, brother?
I am the triple threat. I am the news that moves, mothers. I don't know. I'm just.
What the hell is
that? Look. I started my new job this week, and the plot has been completely fucking lost. Like I had it, and now I don't know where it is anymore.
Well, look, if you don't want to get lost amongst all the wrestling news, subscribing to Wrestle Radio Australia is the way to do it. And you can join us right here at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia. That's, where people like Matthew, Stacey are joining us on Facebook as well, getting in, being part of the conversation, letting us know what you think about the wrestling we're talking about. So thank you to all the people joining us. We've got some stuff to get through today because we watched an absolutely cracking Aussie wrestling show. Jeff was there live. Todd and I have now done our research and watched on what's this platform called again that I can never remember the name of?
Stream Horizon or it's on Fight.
We've been watching MCW High Stakes, the show where all of the matches, well, theoretically all of the matches, had stipulations decided by a giant digital wheel. Before we get into it, let's just say, a great show. Top to bottom, great show.
Yeah, I think that the card, did not reflect the quality of the show. So going in, the card was a little, it was fine. It was a solid promise, but the show itself just over-delivered in spades.
Yep. Agreed. Todd, same thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. It's moving along their stories, and it's also getting some stuff done as well. It was a really good show, top to bottom. Really good show.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that in mind, let's just talk about it from top to bottom. Opening up MCW High Stakes was Edward Dusk and Barry O'Leary, who we've got to stop calling him Barry, guys. That's what I've learned from commentary. If you say Barry, you've got to stop yourself. His name is Lucky. That's his first name. This match, the wheel decided it would be a beat the clock challenge. So only 10 minutes in and out for one of these men to claim victory. And Edward Dusk ended up coming out on top of this one. I think that having a beat the clock challenge for the first match was really clever. It let it be a standard match while immediately throwing an element of tension into the show, making things feel like, oh, we gotta go. There's action happening. We're moving, without it necessarily having to be a crazy high-flying match. This is the next step forward in a couple of storylines. The first one being Lucky O'Leary having all the luck in the world, but still not being able to get it done. And the other story being Edward Dusk's transition from pure heel into, I'm going to say, tweener territory, where after this match, he pledged that he was going to take everything for himself from Ballroom Brawl. No surprise we love Dusk here. We've all said it before. What did you think of the match itself, Todd?
Yeah, the match was fine. It's really hard because I found myself, and also like listening to the crowd. I could see the crowd going with Dusk at times, but I could also see them getting behind Lucky O'Leary as well. Where it's like it was sort of like a case of like, geez, like is Lucky going to turn face as well? Because it was just, there were points of that match where they were cheering for him because it was just, the stuff they were doing was so entertaining. Like I think Edward hit his finisher and Lucky, because he was lucky, rolled out of the ring so Edward couldn't pin him. And that sort of stuff, like, I could see the crowd getting behind him. And I could see.
And rolled him up and rolled his feet into the ropes to get a rope break. Like,
because I can actually see like O'Leary being a big baby face. Like he's got a really good look to him, and B, he's just got that there's something about him that makes you want to, like, there was a point to that match where like, I kind of want this guy to win, where I probably shouldn't have, and it's harder too because you've gone with such, like, Dusk being he was such a dyed-in-the-wool sort of like evil character, and now because they've got the crowd was getting behind him sort of thing, they've gone, okay, we'll go with this thing and see how it goes. And I don't know, it's working, but it's working, I don't think it's working as quickly as what they thought it might do. I don't know if you guys have the same opinion or not.
Oh, look,
Jeff was in the building. What did it feel like live, Jeff?
Live, definitely at the end, Dusky got a huge pop. A huge pop. So I think that is definitely working. But I agree. O'Leary is a real comedy heel. Like his facial expressions and some of the things you possibly didn't catch on the tape, which is why it's important to go to Wrestling Live, were absolutely hilarious. Like, the guy has it. He is so funny. O'Leary has a huge future as a face or a heel. It won't matter. As I've mentioned before on the podcast, he is he used to be in Neighbours. He was a child actor in Neighbours. So he's going to have that extra level of charisma. I can see them turning him, but I can see it in a while. I think there's someone else they're going to turn before they turn O'Leary. And I think it might even be coming as soon as next show. That's for me to predict, because sadly they've sold out. I can't even get into the next show. MCW can't fit me in the building, but that's fine. I'm going to be able to watch it on Stream Horizon or Triller. But I thought this was entertainment from go to woe. Both guys did really, really well, and it got the crowd in the building. The job of an opener, and we all know this, it is the second most important match on the card. And it definitely got that crowd in the building and cheering and making noise. That's one of the loudest crowds I've ever heard, I will say, because it was just like everything rose and boomed. It was fantastic.
On a production note, though, there was, like, at the end of the match, Edward was sort of like cutting a promo to a camera in the ring, and you couldn't hear him, and it almost was like you could hear the production feed, like the director or something. Like, it was really weird. It was a really weird thing. And then when they cut to the back, because what you guys wouldn't have seen live is that when he went to the back, the camera followed him to the back and he cut a promo straight after his match to the camera. But because when I watch these things, I listen to them. I watch them mostly with my headphones, just because I like to be able to hear, like, really hear the crowd. When he was cutting that promo, it was just one. It was like mono, so it was only like one ear. The other ear was completely silent. So just these little production notes that they could work on, hopefully. I know it's a little thing, and it's me being like ultra picky, but it's just sort of like that thing where, like, I was like, oh, that could have been better. It was great. Like, his promo was great. The words were great. The subject was great. It was just that other thing that let it down a little bit, which is unusual for MCW.
MCW have typically been a little bit up and down on this. Have PWA. We've had shows where we've gone, that production was a nightmare, and we've had shows where we've really been complimentary of the production. So it's disappointing to go from Renegades, whose production was so fantastic, to having those tiny little niggles just in there. But I think in general, the production of this show was pretty good.
Yes.
And
100%.
Having those elements where, you know, we're following a wrestler to the back after the match for them to cut a promo, that's very much the way wrestling is going at the moment in the big leagues. And it's nice to see it getting executed. Yeah, exactly. In somewhere like MCW as well. As well as that, the other thing that I like with that element of continuity is that we're sometimes having matches leading directly into other matches, like happened with these next couple. The spin the wheel resulted in a beer bash for the match between Jarvis and Shen. Maybe unsurprisingly, Jarvis got the win here with his standing in MCW at the moment. But his prize of a case of beer, he was not too impressed with, because all beer, quote, tastes like piss. Jarvis is just such a fantastic heel. It's just, it's the easy stuff. It's the stuff that everyone goes, well, if he was a heel, he'd say drinking beer is for losers. And he went for it. But he just delivers every time. I enjoyed this a lot.
One thing I'm starting to see is Jarvis is getting more and more cheers. There's only so long that they can actually keep the genie in the bottle.
I don't think you could hear it because you're at the actual venue, Jeff. But, like, of course, I've got earphones in. I can hear, like, at least 10, 15 people just all the time going, "Fuck you, Jarvis! Fuck you, Jarvis!" The whole way through. Like, nobody really came around to it. It was just like, as soon as he came out, "Fuck you, mate." Like, he's not really listening here.
At least where I was sitting and being surrounded by, let's just concede that, because obviously watching wrestling is quite location dependent. And your takeaways from shows are depending on where you're sitting, which also makes it fantastic to watch live. This is part of it. And Jarvis was definitely getting some light cheers. Definitely.
He's such an enjoyable character that I think a lot of people are going to want to cheer for seeing a character that they enjoy, whether that's a good guy or a bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel like Jarvis is due a face turn anytime soon, because as much as people are enjoying seeing him and are having a good time while he's out there, I think they're having a good time because he's a piece of shit. Right? And I think if you try to turn that around, you've got to be so careful. A face who's a face because they're a piece of shit is a really narrow tightrope to walk. And I think you don't want to change Jarvis's character because he's perfect at it. So managing to keep that character while being on the face side of the divide is such a tricky needle to thread. I hope they don't go that way. But I definitely understand why there would be people cheering for him. But I thought Shen was a good opponent here as well, right? Someone who is not necessarily the top of the pecking order, but someone who's impressive in ring, who immediately gets over that they're a good guy who wants to win. I think Shen was a great pick here. Todd?
It's funny you say that. I was actually really impressed with Jarvis here because I know that Jarvis isn't exactly a a 10-year veteran who's been around the trap sort of thing. But I can tell how sort of novice Shen is. And Jarvis really worked well with him here, which is a sign of a good professional wrestler, for someone that can take anybody and put them through a really good match. And like he did a lot of that with Shen. There were bits there I'm like you can see him sort of waiting for Shen to turn around, sort of like that little disconnect sort of thing. But he sort of like he would cover it in certain ways, like talk to the audience or react to somebody in the crowd because he knows Shen's not quite ready yet, so I'm going to do this to get him in a position ready. These little things that you pick up if you've been like sort of watching and analysing this bullshit for as long as I have. And that to me really stuck out, that the Jarvis is really good at working with people that, while they might be ready for the big stage, not as ready as a lot of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and this is a conversation that we were having. I want to bring it back to when we talked about, and this was a long-term conversation, about how many women were on MCW shows, right? So it's really, I think, exciting to see the turnaround that we've had here, number one, to now a point where we can get a triple threat women's title match and have Delta come out as the top person to face down the champ at the end of the show. But this is kind of the conversation that we were having about wanting to make sure people are ready before they get showcased, right? Shen is someone who is getting to that point where he's ready, but you can still see the little gaps in it. So he's getting to the point where, okay, we're going to start seeing Shen on more shows so that he can start filling in those gaps to get to the point where he's consistently at the top of his game. I think Shen was really good here. It's just those last little pieces are ready to be filled in.
Here's the thing. Okay.
I'm not ready for it.
I wasn't ready to put it up. I noticed.
You guys aren't aware of this, obviously, but there's often dark matches before the show where they moved on from it, they'll put newer people in a match.
What do they call it? There's a name for the MCW has a name for it.
Well, at the moment they're called
Fusion.
Fusion. Yeah, they're fusion matches. So they did have Shen and Jarvis and Lucky doing matches in those about 16, 17 months ago. So from the beginning of last year, they started to have those matches every month, and they were great. So the crowd is familiar enough with Shen to go, he's a babyface, he's a good babyface, he's solid, which is why he didn't get a total reaction of, who the fuck's this?
Who is this guy? Yeah.
He didn't get that. He got a recognition pop, and the crowd are happy to see him. You're both right. I'm not arguing with you. There are a few little finesses that he needs, but he's got a great look. He's got a great build, and he is an instant babyface. Like, you see that guy and go, much like when he's got a facial features similar to Steamboat. So you're going, why am I cheering for this guy? Oh, he looks a bit like Ricky Steamboat. And because of that, it's that familiarity.
And those like final touches that we're talking about are the things that a wrestler gets by A, working more matches on a bigger stage, and B, working with more experienced people for longer. And that's what's going to start happening as he gets more on the main shows rather than the fusion shows is, Jarvis, again, not a 10-year vet, but if he starts having matches with people like, the Edward Dusks who, and again, Dusk isn't like this great vet, but Dusk is so good, and so aware of what's going on. Or people like Brooksy or Rocky who are on the main card, or people like Ugg. Those are the people who are going to get those little things taught. So that it's not a criticism, it's noticing that Jarvis did really well to be in that role.
Yeah, it's also because I don't know. You could probably tell me, Jeff. Does Shen work like a PCW or a Mayhem or anything? He does. Okay, that's. I was going to say, because if the only work you're doing is on fusions and then you're training, that's going to really inhibit your growth.
But pursuant to what Lachlan was saying, That's why Moretti is in the building. Moretti's there to train people and to work them up. And you know, at Ballroom Brawl, I'm excited about the brawl, but I'm even more excited. Moretti is going against Ryan Rapid, not Snap, Crackle, whatever name they gave him. It's Ryan Rapid, and I for one am really happy to hear that, because I think the crowd have reacted to Ryan Rapid because of the raw talent he has. So working with Moretti is only a good thing for him. Sorry, I digress. Yes. I was going to come to that later, but I thought I'd say what I remember.
Absolutely. But like we were saying, there's a lot of like synergy going on in this show. And that's what we saw here when after the match, Jarvis won his case of beer and declared that beer tastes like piss. No one likes beer. Why would I want beer? And so who comes out? But of course, the Tuck Man to enjoy a beer, deliver a picture-perfect stunner to Jarvis. Obviously, both those guys had so much fun with that stunner cell, because Jarvis flew about 8 feet into the air, spitting beer the whole time. So he clearly was very excited to do that. And then Robbie Thorpe came out for his match against the Tuck Man, where the loser of the match would enter at number 1 for the Ballroom Brawl. Robbie Thorpe managing to end his losing streak and defeat the Tuck Man here. I think that that's great choices all around. I wasn't expecting Tuckman to make his MCW debut and lose, but I think that it's a great position to put him in as someone who the crowd clearly likes because he's got a fun gimmick, and they're putting him in the underdog babyface spot of number 1 in the Big Rumble while having him lose to Robbie, who they're establishing as a bigger heel as we move forward. Jeff, what did you think of this one?
I really liked it. The Tuck Man, that was his first appearance at MCW, and boy, he was over like that, just instantly over. There was no awkwardness as well, and it wasn't the video the month before. The video got silenced pretty much. I hate to say it. I think we acknowledged that when we reviewed the show.
Yeah,
but he got a huge pop, and his charisma and natural ability just came out in spades. The one thing I would have liked in this match is, yes, the loser gets number 1. But the winner should get number 30, because that really raises the stakes for the winner. It really makes it more important. And something, if you lose, you start at number 1, you got a chance. But starting at number 30, great. And I just kind of would have liked that little bit of synergy there. But that's a tiny, tiny complaint. Great to see Robbie finally win. Great to see Robbie's sleazy mustache. And a really, really fun match. They both know their characters so well, and they both work together so well. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was lovely.
I will say that, and I'm sure that it might be, but I don't know whether MCW knows if it's going to be a 30-person Rumble. So
or the winner comes in
final
last.
Spot in the Rumble.
Yeah, final spot.
I agree to an extent, and I guess my criticism's invalid, right? Because my criticism was going to be that if I am looking at this from the perspective of the stories they're telling, and we've got Rocky Monero as general manager, seems like he's a person who can rig the numbers to make sure that the last couple of spots are reserved for people aligned with the interests of the icons, right? But if you're going to have Robbie Thorpe in that position, then that would make sense, seeing as, again, as we're talking interconnected things going throughout the show, looks like Robbie Thorpe's aligning himself with the icons. So,
but if you're going to have someone draw the last spot, it's got to be Lucky O'Leary.
Yeah,
he just draws it.
Good point.
Son of a bitch! How the fuck does he do that? Like,
good point.
Sort of thing.
Hey.
There's 29 possible spots he could get. Number 1's been taken. He could get any other. He got fucking 30?
Yeah. If Tuckman's wrestling, or when Tuckman's wrestling catches up to his charisma, and he's going to be a real problem, because his charisma is off the charts. His wrestling is a ways behind, and there is a lot of room for improvement when you watch him. I think Robbie Thorpe, like watching that, and obviously I think Rocky sees the same thing that I see because of the way the match finished. I see so much Elliot Sexton in Robbie Thorpe.
Yeah. God, yeah.
So much Elliot Sexton. And I was just like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, did Rocky just tell him go out and be Sexton? Because, yes, it works. He's same size, same sort of, but like, it's really good. He is
a bunch of Sexton tapes recently.
And it would not surprise me if Rocky said, "That's what I want you to do. I want you to go and watch this guy because this is the guy that this is who you should model yourself after because it fits and it fit his character." He impressed me so much in this match because I know how like we know how much what like Tuckman has done in PWA and all of that sort of stuff. But he's also done that on the caveat that I've always said that he's very green, and they've kept putting him in there with people that would hide a lot of those deficiencies. Robbie Thorpe did the same sort of thing, albeit not as good as someone like Robbie Eagles, like Mick Brady. Because how can you do that and be as good as those two guys this young into your career? But I see so much potential in Thorpe, especially like the Sexton thing is just, it blew me away watching that match. I'm just like, wow, that's Elliot Sexton. Well done. Like, I love it. I think Thorpe has got a massive future.
I agree completely. And before we move on, just want to mention that between the last MCW show and this MCW show, Robbie was on a certain wrestling comedy panel show, and now he's winning. I mean, go figure. I don't know how that happened, but go figure. I mean, really.
They've really got to stop letting wrestlers do WrestleBrania because it just gives Jeff a big head whenever they do well. Right? Like, I don't know. Why did we let WWE sign Waller? Because we knew all it would do is get Jeff another thing to brag about. So we're going to move on as quickly as possible to the MCW Tag Team Championship match, where the icons in the form of Adam Brooks and Rocky Monero were up against the challengers, the Natural Classics. And rather than letting the wheel be spun, General Manager Rocky Monero said, nah, here's the stipulation, take it or leave it. If you lose, you can't challenge for these belts again. And then Natural Classic lost, so they can't challenge for the belts again. Which works for me because it meant that this program was just a good match, and then we don't have to have the Natural Classics chasing as, you know, ooh, look at these baby faces who want it. No, just put them in matches, let them be good wrestlers like they were here, because this was never going to be a bad match. The Philipes know what they're doing between the ropes. Brooksy and Monero have both ring ability and charisma to spare. It was good. It was always going to be good, and then it was good. The thing that I thought was the highlight of this match was seeing Slex come out of his shell as a heel. I think this might be, on camera, the first time I've heard Slex say more than a sentence. And him embodying that heel persona is something that I'm really excited to see moving forward, because it feels like where he wants the character to be. Feels like that, you know, he was becoming a babyface because he's been there for so long at such a high level that the crowd were just cheering him because he's a guy that's been there for a long time and we love him.
Yeah,
so it's nice for him to get to be the character that Slex is. So him on commentary I thought was really good, gave him a good opportunity to interfere, and I hope we have more of that going forward. Todd?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I would have missed saying that too about Slex. It was something that allows him to develop his character more by doing that prologue. It was the first time like you said, first time I'd heard him talk for more than a minute without saying the words "boomin'."
Yeah.
So like it was good to get that side of his character out, and that more of the an arsehole sort of like we are the best sort of gimmick. It was really good. It was really good, and like the fact that Rocky and Brooksy were in there with the Natural Classics was just like they were able to hide the lack of charisma that those two have. Like the Natural Classics are pretty much the way you said with Slex. They've just been that long now that the crowd is like, oh, we like these guys because they've been here that long. They're really good in the ring. But aside from that, when they walk out, you wouldn't be able to tell if they're a babyface or a heel. Just from their entrance.
It's interesting you mentioned that because at Slam Wrestling last year, and I don't know if you agree with me, Lachlan, because you were at the same show I was, they worked heel and they were great. They were interesting.
Heel.
They were so good heel. It's almost a shame that they are faces here because they were so much better as heels. I don't know if this is ultimately going to lead to some kind of shenanigan heel run. I'm hoping it does. But I'm way more interested in them now that they can't challenge for the belts than I have been leading up to this point. It was a great match. It was a really good match. It was long. The crowd were invested in all of it. It was good. But,
it was good. It was always going to be good. That's the thing. Like Lachlan said, there was no way it was going to be a bad match because like 3 of the 4 guys are at their absolute fucking peak of their conditioning, and you've got someone who like Rocky's in absolute mint shape, and he might not he's not on the peak of his career because let's face it, he admits it himself. He's on the thing, but he's smarts. He's so fucking smart when it comes to planning and psychology and all of that sort of thing. So, like, it was never going to be a bad match, and it wasn't. It was a good match.
No, I think with Rocky, when obviously he's in phenomenal shape. Like, you look at me and you look at Rocky Monero, and you can see, 33 and a third % chance.
I so was waiting. I thought you were going to do it too. I'm like, don't tell me he's not going to do the Steiner line here.
And
You're looking at a man like me.
Through, right? Because he looks incredible. But obviously he is on his way down the mountain rather than up. And that's just how it goes over time. But I've never seen him put on a match that was less than great. Because he is so in tune with how everything flows in the ring. He's been doing it for so long that he just makes sure everything goes well. And I do want to touch on what Jeff said about the Natural Classics at Slam. I think it helped that there was no promo element to that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the people who were at Slam rocked up and they went, oh, some wrestling will be fun. And then the Natural Classics walk out, they pose, they do just a little duck face when they pose, which is almost just how their faces are shaped. They're almost always doing that, but they just put it on that little bit more. Yep, and you go, oh, fuck these guys. And that's all it needs. And then you put them up against some fiery baby faces, bing, bang, boom, you've got a stew going, right? So it sucks, I think, that when the crowd is so behind them because, hey, we know how good these guys are, we've been watching them for a long time, we want to see them do well and succeed because they're our boys. It takes away how good they can naturally be as assholes, right?
I'd like to actually watch them with someone who has no preconceived notions about them, and then have them tell me what they think they are.
Tell me what these characters are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I took a great friend of mine, Artemis. They and I went off and watched the show before where the Pariah ended the night, and that was the one. But the Pariah ended the night, and the Natural Classics came out. So he said to me, they turned around to me after the show and went, "Who were the 2 goobers at the end that ran out?" And they had no preconceived ideas. But in that moment, because the Pariah are so over, they got a very mixed reaction. The Classics got a very mixed reaction. So my friend's natural question was, who are those goobers? They really like the Pariah. And we're going, I can see all the charisma and everything works with them. Who are these 2 other goobers that came out? So that's kind of the answer, I guess.
That's going to be hard whenever you're a tag team in the same company as the Pariah. That's always going to be a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
My concern is that with the stipulation the Classics can't challenge the Icons again for the tag belts, is that we're going to get a long-term storyline about the Classics trying to get someone to win the belts off the Icons so that they can be champs again. Because there's not much else going on in that tag team division, right?
No.
So, like, who else do you build stories around? If they have that as the story bubbling in the background, I don't know, because what we're saying is I want more character, more jerk character from the classics is what's going to get me invested. But having them as, come on, we really want to see these bad guys get taken down a notch, that'll suck. So I'm hoping that...
Tell me what you really think. That'll suck.
And then we'll all go home for milk and cookies.
That's Hey kids, who wants some frosty chocolate ice cream? Let's talk about something that definitely did not suck, and that was an MCW Women's Championship match. Erica Reed challenging Delta. It's the moment that wheel spins. What's that? Triple threat match. Here's Cherry Stevens. Cherry gets added to the match to make it a triple threat match. 3 really, really exciting competitors in this one. Like, that's some good star power in this match. And having Erica Reed become the new MCW Women's Champion is bloody fantastic. It takes nothing away from Delta, both because Delta got to congratulate Erica, who is an awesome performer, and because Erica didn't eat the pin because Cherry Stevens did. I loved, and I don't know if I'm going to get absolutely disagreed with here or completely agreed with. I feel like there's not going to be a middle ground. I love that Cherry straight up went, well, Delta is like Goldberg, so how do you beat Goldberg? So she did the metal plate spot. Yeah. But with the book that she's using to research. Great stuff. Right?
But I don't know if that's a heel turn for her. If this is like a heel Cherry. No? Because I didn't mind it. I thought that would be good if that's what she did. And she started using the book to hit people to win this thing. I did it by the book. That's how I won this match, by the book.
I think it absolutely is. I had criticisms, if you remember, when we reviewed a show, because Cherry was looking in the book, and it was a distraction for me as a viewer, and it was possibly a distraction for people. There, for a start, when Cherry came out, the crowd were a bit indifferent, and the reason is she hasn't been in MCW for a while, and it was a wonderful sort of surprise of, oh, here's Cherry. Wow. Okay. Sort of, yeah, okay, we'll get used to this now. Then we had a tremendous match that ended in a very clever way. The book was fantastic, really well used here, and I thought it was nice. I do think this is a heel turn. I think absolutely this is a heel turn. We're going to see a heel, smarmy, smug version of Cherry Stevens, and I'm here for it, man. I am so here for it because I think it's going to be great. Of note, at the next show, Erica at Ball and Brawl, Erica is facing Cherry for the title. And I think we're going to see proper heel work from Cherry, like real, no-holds-barred heel work. And I think it's going to end in a no decision, and we're going to see a third match. Because I think, it kind of makes sense. I'm all here for it. I think it's going to be great. And I thought this was a tremendous match.
Yeah, I was really impressed with this, and I do hope that we get a bit of that heel Cherry character, because I think that's going to be important, not just for the story, but for her development as a performer, right? Yeah. Because that's just something that, as far as I know, she hasn't gotten to do yet. And at PWA, I don't think she really will get a chance to do it, because if you look at, who she's come up with and being part of, doing the prefects thing and being the plucky young learning, like we saw her from when she was not a good wrestler to now, and she's been learning the whole time, and that's her character. To get that kind of experience on the other side of it, I think is going to be really good for her to develop as a wrestler. And I think that... Go on, Jeff.
I was going to say, and you know what's really interesting? Her little catchphrase, books are tight. That can be said so well as a face, but imagine how it can be said as a heel. And that is exciting. That is so exciting. I'm because Delta's going to want revenge,
and I love a goofy evil heel.
Yeah,
I don't know if Delta is, because Delta didn't take the pin. Delta really I think this is just the cleanest way to split Delta from that women's division. Just have her go off and do the Intercommonwealth thing now. I think that's the way to, because you don't, because honestly, if you keep her in that division, they're going to put, the crowd are just going to want her to win the belt.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're not going to have, like, as much as they like Eric, because they love Erica, but they're just inherently going to want her to be the top dog. Whereas if she's no longer in that position, then it doesn't have to be a priority. If it wasn't for the way they ended this show, that should have been the main event, because that was my match of the night. I thought that was such a good match.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. I actually said, I said to that same friend, I said, "Oh, look, they done it again. This should have been the main event." I was actually saying it to them while Waterman and Moretti were on, which was a great match as well. But I said to them, maybe this should have been the main event. And then, we go home with a new champ and a hug from a legend, from someone who's rapidly becoming a great cornerstone of Australian wrestling. And then we got what we got, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, it feels kind of weird to just be saying, like, obviously the match was great. It was really good. All three of them did really well. It's so strange for once to have a match with Delta in it and not just be raving about Delta. But it's because the other performers did so well, right?
Yeah.
It's so exciting to me when Delta is so clearly incredible and she's in a position where she can make other talent look high level because they're competing with her. That's what I loved about this. It really made I've loved Erica Reid for years. I think she's one of the best talents in Australia. As a character, she's phenomenal. As a person,
you say that, but I think in the last 12 months especially, she's taken that next step. Like, she's found something else.
Absolutely.
I don't know if not necessarily that she was missing, but she's more like she unlocked an achievement. You know what I mean?
When I became a fan of her, I saw her as a manager who also wrestles. And that is not what she is anymore. She is one of the best women's wrestlers in Australia, one of the best wrestlers in Australia, full stop. I reckon she's, like, really, the way she connects with a crowd is unreal. And having Delta share that star power with her, I think you put those two in a ring, it's electric, right? The amount of charisma between the two of them, my God. I
love the way this started too, like really quick shotgun, sort of like trying to pin, roll up, counter to a double roll up. It was really good. It was because I think it was such a departure from the rest of the show, the way the rest of the show's matches were, that this was like a clear, like the speed lifted, the intensity lifted quickly. I really liked it. I thought it was really, like I said, this was my match of the night.
Yeah,
there was a slight mistake that MCW made. MCW, this is from someone in the building. After the show, obviously, there's a few wrestlers around. People go and say hi, buy t-shirts, buy merch, etc., etc. Erica wasn't there. And I think it would have been really nice if Erica was there, because people wanted to see the new champ. That's just a small note from someone who was in the building. There could be a myriad of reasons why. We know Erica's family was there because she embraced them after the match, so she could have been spending time with her family. There could be a myriad of reasons, but it would have been really nice. It's just that one little my only criticism from this show. Not much criticism, really.
Yeah, if the criticism we can come up with is, I wanted to see that performer more outside of the ring. Like, leave everything, give me more of that person. Like, that's a great criticism to have, right?
Okay.
After that, it was followed up by a match that I really enjoyed the in-ring of, to the surprise of no one. Mitch Waterman and Mick Moretti went one-on-one. The wheel decided that whoever lost this match would also not be in the ballroom brawl. So when Mitch Waterman defeated Mick Moretti after a hard-fought battle in which his ankle was potentially re-injured, but the help of Snap and Crackle went a little bit sideways, leading to Mick Moretti clashing with the rest of Shadow Alley and potentially breaking up, leading to a future match against Ryan Rapid. Whoa, these storylines are wild. Mick Moretti and Mitch Waterman weren't going to have a bad match. I just don't think it was going to happen. Right? Mitch, since he's come back, has been doing good work. I don't think career best work, but I think really good, consistent work. And Mick Moretti is the definition of consistent, high-quality pro wrestling in Australia. There was enough creativity to keep it interesting. I really liked a spot where Waterman was in a tree of woe and Moretti did the headstand that he's, known for, and then started doing blows while both of them were upside down. That's really fun. It takes in the character that we know. It gives us something new and exciting without having to be the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen and blow the roof off the place. The wrestling was good. The story was good. I'm excited to see Moretti versus Ryan Rapid. I think that's a great match that doesn't need to have those guys in the ballroom brawl. I think it's also interesting that it seems the clown thing is entirely done, because the other member of Shadow Alley, whose name always escapes me, wiped off his clown makeup and said, "I'm done."
Blake Malik.
Blake Malik, thank you. I don't know why Malik had to super kick Rapid before doing that. Because it was like, he's aligned with Rapid. No, he's aligned with Moretti! And now he's not aligned with anyone at all.
Maybe it's the fact that they just wanted to clearly make him still a heel, even though he's leaving Mick.
Yep. So... yeah, it was something where I just thought it felt a little awkward, like he was the third guy there. And then he was like, but I've also got to prove that I don't like either of you. That element didn't work as well for me. I almost would have preferred if he was like on the outside and then saw him doing the I'm done thing as a consequence of Moretti beating on Rapid rather than him helping. I don't know. But it just, that little bit didn't work perfectly for me. But other than this, good match, good story. I got no real complaints. Todd?
No, like Jamie said, they got rid of the clowns for you. All right, so
yes!
The clowns are done.
Hey, guys, who was the other clown? There's still a clown we don't know the identity of.
You're the clown.
It was. That's why I keep bringing it up.
Lachlan, I'm getting a phone call. For you, it's who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone else has forgotten about it. Best you do too.
Can we use the Men in Black thing?
Yeah.
If only I could, Jeff.
It was a really good match. Mitch is really good, and so is Mick. Of course, we all know that. It's not really a huge secret about this. With the storyline though, it almost felt like Mitch was playing the third or fourth wheel to the rest of this story.
Agreed.
Because the story originally was Mick was coming after Mitch to unlock his monster, like to bring out this side of, and then sort of forgotten all about that and decided to pick on his own guys, which was like, because I loved during this match, like Mick was trying to tell that story, like, come on, get this monster out of you, blah blah blah, and then it sort of just went away from that. Like, there was nothing wrong with the match. There was nothing wrong with any of that. That bit was just a bit confusing and made me feel like Mitch was the fourth wheel in this story. Because when all the other shit happened, he just fucked off. Whereas I wouldn't have minded something to the effect of this guy fucking Mick was beating on Ryan Rapid and the other guy Blake Malik was helping Mick do it. And then Mitch runs in and fucking runs the other two guys off. Maybe you do a tag match from that. And that leads eventually to Ryan Rapid and Mick. But it just felt like Mitch was gone as soon as the match was over and that was it. And then yada, yada, yada.
The thing Mick has been reminding me of storyline-wise in MCW is, and this is going to age me in a very particular way. Did you guys ever do those E-Feds where you would be a wrestler and write promos, and then the manager would decide who had the better promo and put them over in the match. And then you would go like month to month with different shows, and that's what his promos have felt like. It felt like, oh, I've got to do a promo with this guy, and here's my character, so I got to like get the story over with this guy, and then the match is over, and he's like, oh, I've got a great promo for this next guy. Like, that's what it's felt like.
No, I actually just booked shows.
Yeah.
Thanks, Todd.
I just comedy wrestling video show that's booked. You know?
Sorry that I was a child in the age of the internet, guys. I don't know what it was like when there were only books and stone tablets, right?
Oh, the boys are picking on me. Let's point out that I'm young.
Well, speaking of stone tablet... Oh, no, Jeff, did you get a chance to talk about this one?
No, I'd kind of like to. I agree with Todd. I think they started going down that interesting road of let's see Mitch's, let's see the monster within Mitch come out. And they ran away from it, which was okay in the context. I think that they've realized the clowns are getting less and less reaction and hurried up the split. I think the split has been hurried up, which is why this happened this way. So I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a lovely match, and the ending was good, and the stuff that happened after the match was of interest. I'm not sure whether they're going to keep Blake Malik around a lot, or whether he's going to sort of fade away for a few months and then come back.
Like I almost got that impression too.
I don't think he's quite there. I think it was almost a goodbye from Blake Malik for a little while. Maybe an appearance in the Rumble, but in the brawl, in the ballroom brawl. But that'd be it. Then he'd come back, September, October, maybe early next year, and really put a belter on it.
You wish
anyway, speaking of stone tablets.
Oh my lord.
Oh my god.
Caveman Ugg
God.
was in a last man standing match.
Hang on, I've just got to write this on my eFed. Hang on.
Caveman Ugg, last man standing match against Tommy Knight for number one contendership for the MCW World Heavyweight title. I am a notorious last man standing hater. They have been consistently proving me wrong for a little while by having me enjoy last man standing matches. This one was good. This was just two big boys beating the shit out of each other. I bloody love Tommy Knight. Kid's the future. He is so good. Caveman Ugg is just... We've said it before. Every match he's in is a main event, and rightfully so. Ugg coming out, great choice. Gives a, known high-quality opponent for selects at Ballroom Brawl. This was good. And the important thing about it, I think, was what happened after the match, where all of Icons came in to do a beatdown, and then we started getting, more people emerge. So we got, Robbie Thorpe came out to help Icons do the beatdown. But then, we had the faces come out, and the climax was Delta facing off against Slex and dodging a title shot, putting him in position for the F5 and having him scurry off with faces standing tall at the end of the show after chaos, which gives us a preview of what Ballroom Brawl is going to look like. Jeff, what did you think of this as a main event?
This is fantastic. Some time ago, someone in MCW said, should we have ended the night with Delta? And I said yes, because Delta got a huge pop. They've made up for that. Delta was around that ring for quite some time because she just didn't want to go. And the crowd were going nuts for her. The crowd ate it up. I think this was a really, really fun match. Like you, Lachlan, I'm not a big fan of last man standing matches. But I thought this was really, really fun. Played to both men's strength. And then that ending was just electrifying. That pop for Delta was huge. The thing that they're doing that's smart is they're also building to Fight to Survive. Fight to Survive is their Survivor Series match. And they've got the teams already. Like, the teams are defined already. Let's just go. I don't know where this leaves Tommy Knight. I mean, hopefully Ballroom Brawl. Hopefully we see him and he...
Well, he's still got a title shot. He's still got a title shot.
No, he's lost it.
No, he's guaranteed. That was just for number one contender.
Uh-huh. So he'll still get a title shot through the year. Yeah. Good.
He's got it in his back pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And they were clear about that on commentary as well.
See, not hearing the commentary could a little bit confusing, but didn't matter. I was so entertained by the match and the activities afterwards. Look, what a way to end a show as well. What an amazing way to end a show. Look, it's it's been done before and before and before, but to end with the hottest act at MCW and probably in all of Australia, coming out and clearing off the heels and then having a celebratory drink and taking a walk around the ring, and just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant.
I'll tell you one thing though. I'm begging Bunnings. I'm begging Mitre 10. I'm begging every fucking hardware store. Just get those picnic tables back, please. I want a table that can break. These things can't fucking break anymore because they're doors. They're so hard to fucking break. Give them something they can go through, for Christ's sake. Poor bloody Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy looks in a bit of pain. Oh, by the way, the Mitch Waterman injury actually worked me. I fell for it.
But yeah, there was that one spot too where I think Tommy missed something and hit the ladder, and then you could see the ladder mark still on Tommy when he rolled off it.
Yeah, they did not hold back in this match.
No,
they beat the shit out of each other. And if you're wondering if Australian wrestling is any good, go on Fight or Triller or Stream whatever it's called, and have a look at this match. Have a look at it, because I can tell you now, they beat the piss out of each other.
I did notice the one thing, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, they made very sure to make sure that the crowd knew that both these guys were baby faces at the start of this match. When they went for the handshake and all, because that wasn't quite the feeling of the match before. The match on the last show was very much like, we'll let the crowd decide who's going to be a heel and who's going to be baby. Then they've gone, oh fuck, they picked the wrong guy. Let's just make them both baby faces. So I noticed that at the start of this match. I'm like, okay, they're making it very clear. Both these guys should be cheered, please.
Interestingly, though, Tommy, and it's just as Ugg is so popular. Tommy was getting some slight boos, not enough to I wouldn't consider a heel turn, because he definitely got cheered as well. But he did get some boos. I don't know if that came through on the stream. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
not so much. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, because I'm a big fan of Tommy. Wonderful show, top to bottom, one of MCW's best shows in years.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so if you want,
like I said, that women's triple threat was match of the show. It was great.
If you
want to check out MCW High Stakes 2024, you can go to streamhorizon.com.au. You can find all of the recent MCW stuff there, by which I mean this and High Stakes, as well as Impact and MLW are on there. So that's a great place to stream wrestling. Or, of course, if you have a Triller Plus subscription, you can go to trillertv.com and catch the MCW action there. And look, we are going to keep you up to date on everything that happens in terms of Ballroom Brawl, as well as, keep talking about what's going on in Aussie and international wrestling. So if you want to keep up with that, twitch.tv/WrestleRadio Australia, or follow WrestleRadio AU on X, Instagram. Go to WrestleRadioAustralia.com. It's got all the info there. We're going to be talking about all the news from around the world of Australian wrestling right after this.
Do you want to be a pro wrestler? Then sign up now to the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling.
Located 50 minutes west of Melbourne, with a full gym, strength and conditioning coaches, a nutritionist, and world-traveled professional wrestling coaches to help you achieve your goals in professional wrestling business. Whether you want to be a wrestler, a manager, referee, or just involved in the industry, with no tryout required, the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling is here to help you achieve your goals.
All you have to do to start your journey is sign up now to be relentless.
change when I'm around you. The feeling that you give me makes my skin start crawling. But even though you make me wanna love and leave, I'm an addict for your touch, it's got my conscience fading. You're pulling me in, I'm out of my head again. You fuck with my heart and I fuck all your friends. You're making me question my sanity, and I know I should hate this, but I really fucking love it. You know my weakness, can't trust you. Hold it against me, I dare you. Running around, feeling heartless, simply toss back to the start. Can't face the truth that I'm falling. Hit by my feet, I'm still choking. Running around, feeling heartless, simply toss back to the start. Never friends, and nothing's trophy twisted benefits, constant feedback, and I hate myself for always wanting it. I'm always overthinking, I make up promises, ignore the warning signs, now I'm into this. The way you pull me closer and push me back around, I'm always wanting more and I can't stand it. You know my weakness, can't trust you. Hold it against me, I dare you. Running around, feeling heartless, simply toss back to the
Robbie Thorpe! Robbie Thorpe! This is how we show Jordan.
Stevie Philippe! The classics! The icons! Fighting back!
This is disgusting. Surely not.
It is Delta! CW Intercontinental Champion! Is this the preview of the ballroom brawl? Oh, Cena Jasmine Jarvis off the stage!
Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. There's been news. First of all, we've got to talk about, thanks Jeff, the news within Australia, and it's that the kid has done it. That's right, fresh off announcing that alongside PWA's own The Example, Ricky South, Jesse Lambert, the P-plater from EPW, will be heading to the Ballroom Brawl, but he's not going to be doing it empty-handed. He's going to be bringing along the EPW Heavyweight Championship, which he won. Congratulations, Jesse Lambert. What an absolutely brilliant result for just a fantastic work.
Yeah, it just proved that we know jack shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Look, a wonderful, wonderful moment for Jesse. His underdog story has been fantastic. The whole thing with Amber and a great opponent in Slater. I haven't seen the match. I'll follow up Brenton for the match. I'm sure Jesse looked like $1 million because you know that Slater would have gone above and beyond to make sure he did. He's funny, he's likable, he's loved by the Perth faithful. I think it's going to be an interesting run, and I hope they keep him strong in that.
Definitely. It's so good to see these people that, and you can see that Tim Wilkes saying that's his chicken salad for the week and he can take off the P plate now.
Yeah, but he just got the gear made. You can't just keep changing the gear.
He just got
you
the
just
gear.
got the gear made.
I love the "please be patient" as a catchphrase. I think that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the big Aussie news. Going overseas, talking about what's going on in the WWE, we've got an updated card for King and Queen of the Ring on May 25th. The main event is going to be a champion versus champion match with Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul. There's also going to be a women's world title on the line with Becky Lynch defending against Liv Morgan. A triple threat for the Intercontinental title with Sami Zayn defending against Bronson Reed and Chad Gable. And finals for both the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. What can I say? He's in my ears and in my eyes.
I was going to say, wasn't that a Beatles song?
Yeah. Are there any? Yeah. Okay, well we've got Sammy's new entrance song, so that's good. Sami Zayn. Any highlights of this card for you, Jeff?
I think that Becky Lynch against Liv Morgan is going to be great. I think it's just going to be a really good heel in Liv, who has really come along as a heel, going up against one of the top baby faces in the company. I also think the triple threat for the Intercontinental title will be off the charts. It's great to see Jonah. I still call him Jonah, but it's great to see Bronson in that role. He completely deserves it. I don't think Sami's going to lose, but I can't see Gable taking the pin. Bronson, sadly, is there to take the pin, but he'll look like $1 million on the way.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm glad that they had Jey Uso beat Ilya Dragunov this week on Raw, because I don't want to see him and Gunther just yet. I don't want to. That would be so. Yeah, that would be so hot shotting that for a match on a Monday. So it's like, hold it off for a pay per view.
Oh yeah, hold it off. Absolutely, hold it off for a pay per view and build it. But I don't mind Jey Uso beating Ilya. It's a shame it's this early in his run, but it makes sense and it's fine. But I wanted Gunther to be responsible for it, just to build it, and even in a slight way, even like one of those. He went to grab Jay's foot and he grabbed Ilya's and blah blah blah, because that way it just builds it slowly. It doesn't just rush it. But it builds it.
See, who do you think? Because I can't even think about on the SmackDown side who's left in it. So I off the top of my head, I can't think who's going to be. But who do you think is going to be this? Like, who's going to win this thing? Like, is it going to be Gunther? Or is Gunther going to not make it to the finals and they're going to give Jay that win over Gunther that they nearly gave him for the Intercontinental title and then they didn't do it? Or do they do something where the bloodline costs Jay again?
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of things up in the air about it. Like, I'm not too sure again, like I said, on the SmackDown side, but on the Raw side, there's a lot of stuff up in the air about it.
I think it's so good that you're going, I don't know who's going to win it. The other great thing about Raw is it's flying by now. It's not 3 hours. It doesn't feel like 3 hours because it's so good. But, I digress.
There's too much wrestling on there now, though.
I think it's hard to look past Gunther.
Yeah.
I don't really see a way that Gunther loses personally, because he's just too hot for it, right? Do we get Bloodline coming up the other side with Mr. Tonga, who is on that side of the bracket, really just demolishing that side of it in order to show new Bloodline strong?
See, what we might get is Tama Tonga or Toma Tanga or Tingo Tange going up against, I don't know what his name is anymore, against Jay, because that's an interesting matchup. So somehow Gunther loses on Monday and we end up with new Bloodline versus old Bloodline, and we start to build the Bloodline feud.
Yes, so to clarify, we've got Gunther and Jey Uso in the semi-finals for Raw. The quarterfinals for SmackDown are LA Knight versus Tama Tonga and Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes.
Jeez, that's very wide open.
That is.
There are 4 guys there who could be in the final.
Yeah, you could see, I can't imagine that they'd have Tama Tonga lose. But yet, does this hurt LA Knight more again? Like, he keeps taking the L's all the time?
No.
Carmelo Hayes is in a perfect opportunity to be really shone a spotlight on, but also Randy's doing great work, and he's been doing great work for a long time, and he's someone who, having Gunther beat him in the main event is a really big deal, so that could work too.
But Randy doesn't need the win. Carmelo needs.
Carmelo doesn't need it, but I agree.
There's so many
could really do with it. It doesn't need it, but he could really do with it. But yeah, do you end up with a Uso Tonga final?
There you go. How good would that be?
Or a Gunther Orton final, or a Gunther Carmelo Hayes final, or a Gunther LA Knight final.
No.
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 And on the women's side, we've got I can't remember what we're up to. I think it's the semi-finals. So it's Baszler, Sky, Stark, and Lyra Valkyria on the.
No, they
Raw.
happened. The court. They fought each other on Monday. So on Raw on Monday.
Yes, that's right.
Valkyria and Stark and Baszler.
Valkyria and Io Sky advanced, and then on SmackDown we're at the quarters, and it's Jax beat Naomi, so it's Nia Jax, it's Jade Cargill, it's Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair.
Again, that's...
Yeah, like, talk about wide open, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, we're talking about people who you could tell me that any one of those are the Money in the Bank winner this year, and I would go, makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's how you know that it's that open, is genuinely every one of those. And Io and Lyra on the other side too. Both of them could win Money in the Bank, believably. If those are the 6 to go into Money in the Bank, it's open.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Here's the
But
thing,
do you have Cargill take a loss this early in a
No.
run?
She is absolutely there to show her strength and be able to throw Nia Jax around and have the crowd go, holy shit, she is so strong. Because she is.
Yeah, but do you have... That's what I mean. Like, do you have her win the tournament?
Well, here's the question. What happens when you get to the semis and you think they're going to give Jade and Bianca away for free on SmackDown, the way that they just purposely did not give us that? So either Tiffy's beating Bianca,
yes,
or Nia is beating Jade through shenanigans.
Tiffy's beating Bianca.
Yeah.
Bianca. Jananka. Tamatonga. I don't know.
Yeah. So then you've got Jade versus Tiffy. Are we having Jade go all the way?
Tongaloa. What? Sorry. Are you having Jade? That's what I mean.
Weren't paying attention, so I don't go.
But that's what I was saying. Like, do you have Jade win this thing, or do you have Jade take a loss this early in her run? Considering that the amount that AEW put behind her, and she didn't lose for what, a year and a half, something like that, some ungodly amount of time. Do you have her take an L this early in her WWE career?
I mean, I can tell you what I would do.
What would you do, Locke?
I would have Jade versus Tiffy end with Jade losing due to interference by Damage Control, who are angry about losing their tag team titles, and wanting to cause damage to the other side of the bracket because Io is the finalist from Raw.
That's pretty much what I would look at. Anyway, I think that this will be great, and I'm here for this as well. This is shaping up to be a really good King and Queen ring, and the crowd.
Do you have?
Crown doesn't look like it was bought for $2.50 in a
No.
Finally.
Do you have Jade lose by like count out or something, so she's not getting pinned?
Yeah.
That could be a way around it.
I have Io beat Tiffy in the final.
But that's two heels.
Yeah, well, I mean, is Tiffy
I'm going to
really
talk about
heel
this
right
more
now?
when we get
Yeah,
to chicken
she really
salad.
is.
I'm going to talk about this more when we get to chicken salad.
All right, in that case, moving and like the other stuff, Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul is going to be a spectacle, right?
Now is that title versus title, or is it like for both titles, or is it? Because it's very confusing. It's just for the. It's an exhibition, so it's not for either title.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought it was at least for Cody's title.
I thought it was for Cody's title.
No, it's just a champion versus champion match. They have not said anywhere that any titles are on the line. I assume they're not actively saying they're not on the line, but you can't find reference anywhere to them saying that someone can win a belt. Tim Wilkes is saying they haven't defined it. Everything you read is they're calling it champion versus champion. So, to me, if they were going to have one on the line, they would mention it. If they were going to have both on the line, they would definitely be talking about it. But they're not, which implies that they're keeping it quiet because it doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
And that also lets them have Logan win through shenanigans and build to SummerSlam Logan versus Cody for the big title with big stakes behind it, which gives them time to take the US off of Logan in order for him to do that, or whatever they want to do, right? Because that was the rumor that that's the SummerSlam main event. On the other side of the coin, AEW's got Double or Nothing coming up. Let's talk about the card for that one. AEW World Championship on the line, Swerve Strickland defending against Christian Cage. The international title, Roderick Strong trying to defend against Billy Ospreay. AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm, will be defending against Serena Deeb. The TBS title...
Yes, Matthew, we have.
With Willow Nightingale defending against Mercedes Moné. Anarchy in the Arena is going to have the Elite in the form of the Young Bucks, Okada and Jack Perry versus FTR, Bryan Danielson, and in some news we're going to be talking about very soon, Darby Allin. And there's also going to be a TNT Championship barbed wire steel cage match with Adam Copeland defending against Malachi Black. And I've just noted here, there's also probably going to be an FTW title match with Jericho defending against Hook, because they're building to that where Hook wanted to challenge Jericho. Jericho refused, said, win a match on Collision and get your match. So I'm assuming that'll go on there, because at this point, there was only 6 matches on the card, and that was never going to last for an AEW show.
Yeah, you're still going to add another 10 yet.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh, that sigh of reluctance.
You remember when and Lachlan, you probably won't remember this because you were an embryo, but when WCW
he was e-fitting,
except unless it was in your e-fit, when WCW was in its dying days, people used to go, why is this happening? Oh, because WCW. It's the same for a while with Vince. Why is this happening? Because Vince. Why does AEW currently a load of shit? Because Tony. Because AEW. It is so hard to get through a 2-hour AEW show now. It really is. I watched it before we came on air and it's so bad. It shouldn't be as bad as it is. They've got an amazing roster.
Yeah, yeah. I can't argue this.
Cage, the #1 contender. Can anyone tell me? I love Christian, but he should not be going for the heavyweight.
Not straight after I saying I quit. Literally straight after saying I quit.
But here's the other side of that coin. Name one match on that card that's going to be less than pretty good.
Oh, it's all going to be good.
Like,
Jericho, maybe.
The biggest question marks are, if there's a Jericho match on the show, that'll be a question mark. Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale could go either way. Like, it could end up...
You've got to think Orange and Trent might be doing something.
Probably, right? But even then, probably won't be a bad match, right? Like,
No.
Roddy Strong versus Will Ospreay is going to be a cracker, right? Toni Storm and Serena Deeb, that's going to be a real good match. Anarchy in the Arena is always fun. Let's talk really briefly about the Anarchy in the Arena thing, because it was announced on Wednesday that Eddie Kingston is out of Double or Nothing after suffering a leg injury at New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence on Friday versus Gabe Kidd. He's been replaced by Darby Allin, who himself is recovering from a broken foot. I'm putting $5 on the table. Young Bucks to use a bus as a weapon against Darby Allin. They're either going to slam him into a bus or try to drive a bus into him. There's going to be a bus.
Okay. Do you know what? Do you know what I can't? And I made a meme about this today because it was just when I saw this on Dynamite, I just thought, what the absolute ever-loving fuck. There are so many people sitting at home in that AEW roster that could possibly do this like spot. Why the fuck are you rushing someone back who is still limping? And not only that, a couple of weeks ago got hit by a fucking bus. So I don't know, you've got guys like Ricky Starks who are sitting at home completely fine. He's very, very healthy. He could come back and do something like this and could be used because he's a hell of a competitor. But they bring back Darby, and apparently he nearly got fucking knocked out waiting under the ring.
It's a disaster magnet.
Apparently after the show, Darby did a promo in the ring, right? Because Darby was hiding under the ring during the match with Okada and Dax. When apparently they took a suplex into the middle of the ring, apparently the beam from the middle of the ring smashed Darby in the top of the head. And he thinks he got knocked out for a second. The dude got knocked out before he even made his comeback.
The problem
Unreal. Awesome.
I agree with you completely. There are so many great wrestlers sitting at home. Where the fuck is Miro?
Yeah.
They could have had Puck. Puck has reason to be in the match. Puck has direct reason to be in the match. And then, no, we're just going to wheel out Darby fucking Allen.
Like, I'm not... Honestly, if Darby was fine, I have no problem with him being in that match. The fact of the matter is, he broke his foot, 8 weeks ago? If that? 5 weeks ago. You can't come back from a broken foot in 5 weeks. Especially feet, because there are 1,000 little fucking bones in those things. He's still limping. Like I said, he was still limping when he come and did this thing. Yes, Locke. You ummed.
Yeah. I wanted to mention that Claudio Castagnoli isn't on this card, but he is booked for a match. It's going to be him versus Kip Sabian, debuting the Spearhead format for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. That's going to happen on the 16th and 17th of May from Arlington Esports Stadium.
Oh, you're actually serious? Fuck, I thought you were...
Not
I thought you were doing a bit.
No, the new Warhammer format is going to be debuted by Kip Sabian and Claudio Castagnoli, Skaven versus Stormcast Eternal, if you really want to know what those boys play on the table. That's what Claudio's up to.
Do you know what I find funny too? The biggest heels in the company at the moment, the Young Bucks, are getting their own signature Reeboks. So they're selling shoes. Like your big heels are doing that. It's fucking. I can't believe how fucking talented a roster they have, and they're being driven by an absolute fucking numbskull who has a legion of fans who defend him to the death on fucking social media.
All right, and let's just move on, because while we're talking about absolute fucking numbskulls, the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission is considering a rule change that would allow transgender pro wrestlers to perform in the state. This is following on from Nyla Rose's incident with the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission, where there's no way to declare that you are trans, so there was arguments over whether the form was filled out correctly and Nyla was misgendered. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, at least they're taking steps to possibly amend it. It happens in July as well, so...
Speaking of amending things, if you haven't heard, nothing to do with wrestling, but last night Cumberland Council reversed the ban on books with LGBTQIA content in their libraries, which I think is fucking fantastic, and I haven't been able to speak about it all day. I'm really happy about that. Anyway, I think that's fucking stupid. The Oklahoma State Commission should this is just a terrible thing.
Yeah, thank God they are potentially working on something. If this is...
Yeah.
Look, I imagine the original rule was just something that was in the books that was never really had to be addressed.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they've gone, fuck. Yeah. There's obviously someone who is very much against it, going, oh no, this should not happen, and blah blah blah. And then cooler heads have prevailed and say, hey, listen, dickhead, we're going to go in when the vote comes. We're going to amend this because it just makes sense.
There's at least one fuckwit who sent the message. But
probably wearing a red hat and,
Yeah. But seems like there should be a change, so that's good.
Yes.
And while we're just quickly digressing, also shout out to Nick Galea. Nick, hope you're doing well, mate.
Yes. Yes.
WWE news. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority have approved $5 million in sponsorship dollars to bring in WrestleMania 41 in April and all that surrounds it, announced by the tourism group on Tuesday. It's official. It's Vegas Mania, baby.
Without selling a ticket, they've already made $5 million. Without selling a ticket, without even putting the tickets online, they've made $5 million. I mean, it's not a drop in the ocean when it comes to what they do when they go to Saudi, but still, like, they don't have to rent buildings. They don't have to do anything. They've already made $5 million. They haven't even walked into the fucking town yet.
But if you're Las Vegas, if you can spend $5 million and have the WrestleMania crowd come through, those dollars from the casinos are going to be rolling in. This is going to be unreal. You've got so many people.
I want to see if they get the Sphere for Raw and SmackDown, because that would be amazing if they did that.
Look, I mean, we still don't know how much Perth paid for Elimination Chamber. I don't think it was $5 million, but it
wasn't cheap. $5 million. No, it wasn't $5 million.
They would have paid the full Monty for it. The $1 million would have been pulled out. I think it's great. I think they're going to get that money back.
Yes.
Tenfold.
I'm considering a Vegas trip because, like as a fan, you also get to go to Vegas as well as doing all the WrestleMania stuff, right? Like, the idea of WrestleMania in Vegas makes so much sense. Tim Wilkes is saying MGM Garden is already lined up for Raw and SmackDown, MGM Garden Arena. It wouldn't surprise me for the Sphere to be hosting potentially an AEW event if they want to acknowledge it, or more likely, Stand and Deliver.
Apparently, according to foxsports.com.au, the WA government paid them over $5 million to put on that show.
Wow.
But that's $5 million Australian, which is like $3 million US.
But still,
still a big chunk of change.
Yeah, but they would have made that in tourism easily.
Okay, easily.
Yeah,
and that's why also. Yeah, that's also why stuff like StarCast happens as well, because the government pay or give grants to these people to come in to bring in the tourism, which livens up somewhere like Ballarat that really doesn't have a thriving tourism market. It just gives them that boost, that local community boost, which helps those communities. It's just that on a bigger scale when it comes to a Perth or a Las Vegas or a Cardiff, or you know what I mean? Or a Lyon, France. Although Lyon didn't, I don't think Lyon, France paid anything for that one. To be honest with you, I don't think they did. I could be very wrong.
It's hard to know, but fuck knows I can still hear that crowd chanting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But the thing is too that I did. Remember when we did predictions at the end of last year or the start of this year?
Yeah.
And I said that WWE will have more overseas pay-per-views this year than they will.
Mm-hmm. It looks like that's coming true.
I think they might have.
Yeah, from what I've been reading, the idea is for them to do the Big Four or the Big Five in North America, everything else overseas. Very much following the UFC model.
That seems like a great plan.
It's a good idea.
So, yeah. I'm just going to say I'm going to chalk that one up as a victory already.
Yep, you can count that point, mate.
The ambush. I don't get the ambush.
Talking more about WWE internationally, the new president of the parent company of Pro Wrestling Noah and DDT wants a stronger relationship with WWE. So Yasuaki Okamoto, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, was appointed new president.
It's the only reason I put this story in.
Yeah, because you wanted to hear me say the Japanese name. Yeah. Yasuaki Okamoto was appointed as the new president of Cyberfight on Wednesday. In a press conference, he said one of Cyberfight's targets was to strengthen their relationship with WWE. Obviously, New Japan has a relationship with AEW, and Bushiroad is in charge of that, which lines up Stardom there, even though that relationship has been rocky. We know that Rossi Ogawa has a relationship with WWE, so that puts Marigold as a Joshi promotion alongside WWE. I think Noah is the perfect Japanese men's promotion to align with WWE. Very similar kind of ways of, I guess, presenting wrestling. Very, I mean, obviously less sports entertainment-y in Noah, but the way WWE is going and being very serious, this is pro wrestling stuff, really aligns with Noah. I think that's good if they do more stuff together. Maybe we see some more talent sharing. We see more stuff like Shinsuke going over and doing Noah matches, as happened recently. You know, all good things.
Oh, there you go. Alex Firehart says, I mean, Monday Magic is very WWE-ish. I don't know what that means. Okay, cool. I have no idea, so cool.
Let's quickly talk about Dude, Where's My Show? So if you're over in Perth, there's more details coming soon, but I'm just going to read the press here. Can't have a show? Well, then I guess they'll just throw a party instead. A free event is going to be taking place Friday at Seasonal Brewing Company in Bayswater. Challenge your mates or maybe a wrestler to darts, pool, or No Mercy on the big screen with wrestling tunes pumping. We're looking to turn this negative into a positive, so get down, grab a drink, and let's party. More details coming soon. Head to Seasonal Brewing Co. in Bayswater if you're over in the Perth area for Dude, Where's My Show?
So look, the idea is, because like they were going to have a Dude, Where's My Ring at the Seasonal this Friday night, I think it is. I think because this is where this is.
Yeah.
Due to stuff out of their control, I know what it is, but I'm not really at liberty to say because I've been asked to not really say what it was about. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to.
Out of their control.
Yeah, completely out of their control, out of the Seasonal's control. So you can connect the dots on that, if you will. So they could do a show, but they made it the forces beyond their control made it logistically impossible in the amount of time that they were given to do that. So they're trying to turn a negative into a positive, because if they'd have said, look, that's it, we're just not going to do the show at all, nothing's happening, you can't do it, that the Seasonal Brewing Company potentially lose out on a lot of money, like through wages and people that they've already put on and all this sort of stuff. So they're going to do that thing where, like, yeah, so they're not going to... The refunds and that for tickets are apparently already being processed right now. I was told earlier tonight, because I checked up on it because I wanted to ask if I could actually say anything that was actually happening, because I like the shit stir. If you had tickets to go, you're going to get your money back for tickets, but just go and support the brewing company, because they're supporting Aussie wrestling. I'm sure it's not conventional Aussie wrestling with a ring and all of that stuff. It's still Aussie wrestling, and there's still Aussie wrestlers that go there and work those shows, and it's a good promotion. Like Michelle does their best to look after everyone that works for that show in every way possible. So if you were going to the show, even though it's off, head down there, have some darts, go and play some darts, play some pool, play some No Mercy 64.
I want to be playing some No Mercy now.
Yeah, on the big screen, it'd be awesome. It'd be great. But yeah, go and support them, even though unfortunately they couldn't put on their normal show. It's out of their control, completely out of their control. Believe me, if I thought it was in their control, I would be the first to say, "Hey, these guys are fucking with you." I'm being completely honest with you.
I don't know if you guys remember, but back just after I joined, when we did the Perth tour last year, Seasonal Brewing was one of our venues, one of our facilities. They are excellent people. They are lovely. They are excellent, without a doubt. They're some of the nicest people. Great beer, fantastic food. Food there was spectacular. I cannot recommend going there enough at any time, but particularly on Friday. It's really important that you go on Friday and that you support not only Dude, Where's My Ring? And again, that's not my kind of wrestling. I'm complete disclosure. Michelle is wonderful, though, and the crew they get there are great. And Rafe, the commentator's a lovely guy. But go and support this event. This one in particular, really important. As Todd said, you want to keep the doors to seasonal open so they can keep doing this sort of stuff. If the numbers drop because of this, who knows what they're going to be thinking? I mean, probably nothing
look,
too bad, but you want to support it.
So you say that, but like venues all over the place are shutting down now.
That's true.
Just because of costs and stuff like there's the place that we used to hold Grindhouse shows at a lot when we lost our home at what was it called? New Globe. Thank you, Lockie. We lost our home at New Globe because that place got shut down and sold. We moved to another place called the Zoo. That was like a little upstairs bar. It was really cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's shutting down. So. And it's even though they had people coming in and they had the costs are just getting out of control for these people. And if we don't have people supporting them, supporting live music, live arts, live wrestling, these venues will go away, and so will the things you love to go out and do. So please do go and support all of these venues and stuff like the seasonal. They're it was out of their control. It was out of Dude Where's My Rings control. Go and support them anyway. You're gonna go and have a night out. Just fucking do it like that instead.
Can I shit stir a little bit? Can I shit?
Pardon? Yeah, go for it.
I want to. Okay, so I just want to point out to anyone who's listening that Todd just talked about a deathmatch promotion who cancelled a show and said this is good and these people are worth supporting because they're doing the right thing by the fans, right? So it's not about deathmatch wrestling being bad. You can have deathmatch wrestling and that's totally fine.
Yeah, it's the shits, but you can do it.
Because sometimes shows get cancelled. It sucks, but that's life. But when you do the right thing about it, and you take care of the people involved, and you're trying to be good for wrestling as a whole, then we will back you. Everyone will back you and say, yes, this is good, keep doing this, right? What Michelle is doing by putting on this show is supporting the people who are going out of their way to have a wrestling show, and going, hey, even though we can't have a wrestling show, we're going to support you. All the people who bought tickets, you're going to get refunds because we can't put on what we were going to put on. But we want to keep supporting everyone. So here's something you can come to instead. And it's going to support everyone involved, right? This is what we mean when we say supporting Aussie wrestling. So big shout out to Michelle there for doing all the right things.
Thank you,
and
Michelle.
Not only doing the right things by all the people that Michelle is working with, and by the fans, but also by us here giving us an opportunity to say, hey, these are the kinds of people we should support. These are the kind of things that people running promotions should be doing, right? So that's really important to me. So I'm going to say, let's move on, because that's a chicken salad for me when we're supporting great people doing good things. That's chicken salad. So let's talk about chicken salad, but let's get our shit out of the way first. Chicken shit. Todd, have you got something for chicken shit this week?
Gee, I was hoping you wouldn't come to me first, but look, honestly, my only chicken shit at the moment is that not every night of Super Juniors has English commentary, because I just like because I find it easier for me to watch with English commentary. You can call me a Neanderthal, I don't care, but it was good because one of the other nights, like Robbie wrestled in the first match or something, and then come back and did commentary with Chris Charlton. Because I think Walker, Wheeler, whatever his name is, the new guy, hadn't made it to Japan hadn't made it to Japan yet. So they were filling, Japan. So they were filling in with wrestlers like through it with Chris Charlton. So, but Robbie was really good, and like that. I guess that's my chicken shit is that I just wish that New Japan would do the English commentary on every night for these things, because that's what, like, we're paying the same amount of money that the Japanese fans are paying, so give us the commentary as well. That's all I'm saying, especially when they're over there. Like, Chris Charlton is still there, he could do that.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, I'll do chicken shit next. I've actually got a quote. Sorry.
Fightful something I've
reported,
said. Oh.
No, Fightful Select reported, quote, there is a pilot for a new AEW-related program with Warner Brothers Discovery that was set to be announced on social channels this week. It was described as not being a reality series. Sorry, you're putting on another AEW show?
No. Do you know what it is? Because I know what this is. It got announced.
Oh, did it? And I missed it?
Yes.
I want to know what I heard.
What is it you heard?
Well, you tell me what you heard, and then I'll tell you what I heard.
It's on the WB's YouTube channel. It is Renee Paquette and RJ City doing. I think it's called Meals and Matches, where they cook a meal and then they watch a match.
That's not what I heard. I heard it's just Chris Jericho and Darby Allin looking at a screen for 3 hours, and then AEW Marks will go, "Oh, this is brilliant! This is much better than the WWE."
But yes, that's I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called Meals and Matches, but yeah, but it's on the WB YouTube channel.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and we'll just shout out that Miss Hasluck in the chat thanking us for the words. Thank you, Michelle. Really appreciate the work.
Michelle. Keep doing the great work, mate.
Chicken salad. I'm gonna get it.
Meal and sorry. It's called.
Sorry, Jeff.
It's called Meal and a Match. Episode 1 is already up with Eddie King. Oh no, it premieres in 30 hours. So the premiere in a day so. Yes, in Japan. It is Eddie Kingston on Crying Barbecue and Punchable Faces.
Jeff, do you have a chicken shit?
Yeah, I do. And I never thought I'd say this, and this is not about Sasha Banks. It is about Mercedes Moné.
Sorry.
That little... she has become execrable and terrible in such a short period of time. She's not worth the money AEW are paying her. No one's sure if she can wrestle Willow or not. And they had was it a contract signing today? They had something today.
Yeah, it's contract signing.
It was positively dull.
See, that's the funny thing is because I looked on X and everyone was raving about it, saying it was amazing.
Seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say.
I
just want to know why. And she's always done this. Even when she was Sasha Banks, she always sounds like she is just finishing eating something when she talks. You know what that like getting? I don't know what the problem is with you, man. I don't know what her fucking problem is, but the fact that they had her on like the Mandalorian and she never really spoke, kind of says something.
Yeah, no, this was terrible. I'm actually not a fan of Mercedes Moné. And I was a huge fan of Sasha Banks. Thought she was excellent. Mercedes Moné, don't care. And the chicken shit is the fact that I'm feeling that way. I shouldn't be feeling that way. And this isn't the first time we've been saying this about AEW, but it's a repeated problem. It's Kazuchika Okada, the greatest wrestler in the world. Who cares? It's Mercedes Moné. A couple of years ago, the greatest women's wrestler in the world. Who cares? It's the care factor is being driven out because the storylines are not good. It is just terrible. It is so bad. I don't know what they're going to do with that match, and I'm really frustrated. And also, we said this earlier, Darby Allin. Who cares? Like, really, just over it. I just make good booking decisions. It's not difficult.
Can I just share the meme I made because I was really proud of it?
Go for it.
I don't know if you've seen it. It's very visual, so if you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to get it.
So put it up, and as everyone is reading it online, if you want to make sure you can see the visuals of the pod, just head to our Facebook, Wrestle Radio Australia, or you can head to twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia to see this really excellent meme that I have already laughed at. Thank you, Tom.
Yes, so did I when I saw it.
Laughed at it.
Alex Firehart, good point. He says, they say, to be fair, given Mercedes' work in a few NJPW starter matches, I think she might just be adjusting to working outside of WWE yet. Not be adjusting, I'm sorry. That is a true point. But the fact is, it shouldn't be that difficult. She's injured. Don't put her on TV when she's injured because she can't talk.
All right, you would think coming from WWE, the one thing you should be able to do is fucking talk.
It shows you how supported she was in WWE. And she's just another person in AEW. Such a shame.
All right, let's turn it around. Let's talk chicken salad. We're going to talk about things we love. So I am going to mention the Extreme Measures Federation, founded in 1999, the best E-Fed that was online during the early 2010s. Rick Grayson's run was short, but stellar. Miss that man very much. Miss role-playing as him. Okay, here's an actual one. It's Despy and Fujita as part of Best of the Super Juniors. I thought that match slapped. I thought that match was really, really good.
What was the one I watched? It was Robbie and... Oh, God, I can't remember who it was now. It was only the other day.
I'm being a bit cheeky not saying Robbie. I'm, purposely not saying Robbie, right?
I don't care. I'll say Robbie all day, because...
DBW, Tim? My God. Okay, sorry.
Dear. No, you're all right. Go
anyway,
for it.
Chicken salad. Jeff, what have you got?
I've got 2 words for you. Io Shirai. Absolutely phenomenal on Monday. When she needed to come out and be a face against Shayna, she was the biggest face in the company. When she needed to come out and be a heel, there she was, being a great heel. Just fantastic. So good. I spoke to Bros from On the Turnbuckle and Brainier, and we were saying that we think that Io Shirai is the best wrestler in the world right now. And WWE aren't holding that back, and it's fantastic to see. This is the flip side of the coin to Mercedes Moné, because even speaking a promo in Japanese about becoming Queen of the Ring, Io is riveting. Absolutely riveting. Fantastic. Amazing work on Monday. Seeing her as a face, seeing her as a heel, seeing her as a tweener. She is going to be the biggest face coming out of Queen of the Ring. Because if she's in that final, she is that phenomenal and that fucking good. Oh, amazing. Brilliant.
Okay, I've got 2 chicken salads. Well, 3. I'm really enjoying Robbie Heagles. Robbie Heagles is great. Heagles is really hard to say.
That exercise you do to keep you... Never mind.
No, that's Kegels. The opening thing he did at the press conference was great. The promo he cut on there was great. He came out against Driller Maloney, had a fucking great match there. Him and Driller. Then backed that up the night before by doing commentary on that show as well. Really good commentary with Chris Charlton. Very, very good. And not only that, the whole time is putting over PWA and the pride of PWA title that he had and all of that sort of stuff. Really, really good. My second one was a quote from Chris Charlton on that same show that Driller Maloney and Eagles had a match. When he described Dragon Dyer, he said, Dragon Dyer is a non-emo Darby Allin. Which just popped me huge.
Very good.
It popped me huge. So yeah, there you go. My all of my chicken salads this week have been from the Super Juniors. So there you go.
And we'll jump in with Alex Firehart as well. They say chicken salad. The fact that Higuchi and DDT might make it to the finals of the King of DDT tournament 3 years running, the way things are going right now, chicken shit is that Yuki Ueno went out in round 1 despite being the top champ. I don't mind when people go out in round 1 when they've got a belt. That's fine by me. They're going to get beaten at some point.
Shocking. And opens up challenges.
And Tim Wilkes is putting over the Nick Wayne versus Joey Janela 60-minute Iron Man match at Defy.
Put over Joey trying to get himself booked in AEW again too. That was pretty cool.
And look, it's really impressive that I think Nick Wayne, as young as he is putting on those, really high-level 60-minute matches. So that's really good. He's what, 10? And you know what? I think that's about right.
Same age as you were when you were running around with.
Well, I was going to say he's been around for about as long as Wrestle Radio Australia. So if you want to, keep that train rolling, 10 years strong, you can head on over to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia, and find our merch. The 10 years strong shirt, all of that stuff. You know that the profits won't go to us. They're going to go to Gotcha for Life and Beyond Blue, two charities that support men's mental health here in Australia. You should also stop by Apple Podcasts, just give us a review, chuck us 5 stars there, helps us get to more people, and make sure you're subscribed as well. It's free. Do it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, wherever you're getting your podcast, hit the subscribe button because it does send us out to more people if you do that, so we really appreciate it. Social media-wise, on Facebook, we're Wrestle Radio Australia. You can follow us on X/Twitter and on Instagram at Wrestle Radio AU. You've got Todd at Beast Eastman. You've got me at Lachlan Albert. You've got Jeff at Jeff_Seti. You can also follow at Wrestle_Brainia to find out what the Brainia is going to be doing in the near future. Is there anything else we need to plug, lads?
No.
Just head along on Friday. If you're in Perth, go to Seasonal Brewing on Friday night. That's about it.
Yeah. Aside from that, I'm free till June.
Yeah, if you want to watch the show that we talked about, MCW High Stakes, because it was a really good show, you can either head to streamhorizon.com.au and purchase it there, or if you've got a Triller Plus subscription at trillertv.com, you can watch it there. But until next time, on behalf of Todd Eastman and Jeff Seti, I've been Lachlan Albert. Till next time, have a good one.
Why is Christian fighting?
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is